Hey guys, welcome to another video with Mel. Today we are talking about Game of Thrones. I told you I wasn't going to talk about Game of Thrones on here, but actually after tonight's episode, I have to. I really enjoyed this episode. It was the Battle of the Bastards. Really loved this one. Been loving Game of Thrones generally this whole season. Really like some of the episodes. Not all of them, but it's been a pretty good season actually. Unfortunately, I'm not very good at names for Game of Thrones characters. You will kind of like realize that I try and talk about them. But it's easy on this one because there's not too many. So, things I absolutely loved, and I'll talk about John first because I like Dany more, so I'll talk about John first and then I'll go into Dany. So the whole battle with John and Sansa and Ramsay Bolton, I was really happy with the majority of that scene. I mean, there was some parts where they just made it really hard to actually tell what was going on, which is always annoying. Game of Thrones does. I just knew John was getting himself into trouble when Sansa kept warning him, and he wasn't listening to her. I quite like Sansa as a character. I know she's not that popular, but I think she's got enough in her that I do like her as a character. I think she's really grown over the years as well as I've watched Game of Thrones. I really like how she's changed. And she's just kind of come into her own a bit. I was a little worried about her writing that letter to Littlefinger and how that was going to go, but it seems to have worked out for the best so far. And actually, she should have told John about it. I don't know why she didn't, but it would have been nice for him to know. But I think they would have gotten in a similar situation even if John had known, and maybe there wouldn't have been anybody to get them out of it as well. So maybe it's helpful. A lot of people died, unfortunately, but what you gonna do? Really was upset with 1-1's death. More upset than I thought I was going to be, just because it's the end of the race for Giants, and that's really bad, guys. It's sad, and I was really mad at Ramsay for that. I was really mad, and I hate Ramsay anyway, like everybody else, but that really got me. I did like the end with Ramsay's death, with Sansa getting her own back. I was kind of hoping all through it, because we didn't see her very much, that she's going to come up behind Ramsay and like stab him in the back, which would have been awesome. Like she would have been disguised or something, and that would have been really cool for her character. Unfortunately, they decided no. She kind of had to be more passive about it, and John had to accomplish most of it, and she just got like Ramsay's end to herself and getting his dogs involved, which I thought was a very good ending for him, since what he did to his mother and the baby, and he deserved that. He deserved it so much. So I was really happy with that as an ending. I'm glad to see Ramsay Bolton gone. He was a horrible person, worse than Joffrey, and I never thought I'd see someone worse than Joffrey on this show, but apparently there is. So I'm kind of worried now about who the next villain's gonna be, because you gotta have another villain now, because if Ramsay's gone, who are we gonna set our sights on being the new villain? Could be Cersei, could be Daenerys. I really don't want Daenerys to be our new villain, but a lot of people keep thinking that's gonna happen. I actually rather have Jon Snow be our villain, because I don't really like Jon Snow that much. I know. Very sad about Davos finding Shireen's little wooden, I can't remember what it was. Was it like an elk or a deer or something? Really sad about him finding that wooden thing and knowing she was there and she's dead, and it's horrible. I was really happy Davos didn't die, because I really like Davos. I've got a lot of time for that character. Glad he came out of the Battle of the Bastards fine. Tormund also beaten but alive. So Brienne and Tormund can still happen at some point. I prefer Brienne and Jaime, but I'll take what I can get. I gotta ship something. So yeah, I was quite happy with the Battle of the Bastards. I didn't think it was too bad. I knew Rickon was gonna die, guys. It was obvious. The guy never got any lines. It was so obvious he was gonna die, and it's like, you zigzag, kid, zigzag. You're not gonna live unless you zigzag. And he just ran straight forward. He didn't even start running at first. And it's like, you need to run fast so that he doesn't hit you with the arrow. God, you're just not very smart, kid. Yeah. I don't know why Jon didn't send 1-1 forward to go grab the kid, because that probably would have been the fastest, because 1-1's bigger and can take bigger steps and get there faster than Jon could. I don't know what Jon was thinking, really. But we knew he was going to go down. He kind of a nothing character, Rickon, really, unfortunately. Haven't been around for seasons, so he wasn't going to do anything important. We've got Bran still in the background as well, so if we want a full-blood son of Ned Stark, we've got one, so we don't really need two at this point. So he was always going to go down. Can't say I'm that bothered at all. I don't know much about Rickon. I started watching the show really in season 4, so I remember briefly about Rickon being on the background. I don't really care about him though. Yeah, so that's, I think, my thoughts for that section. I wish Sansa would have been more of a player in it. I think they missed out an opportunity for her to do a little bit more and have a little bit more agency. But I think it was fine for what it was. I'm just kind of surprised Jon Snow just managed to miss every single one of those arrows flying there. And it's like, really? Every time. There was a lot of arrows. He did very well to miss all those. I do think Davos might kill Melisandre very soon. I think he's gonna figure out she's part of the problem and she's gonna die. And I don't see how that's gonna work. I don't know how he's gonna kill her. We might attempt to kill her and he might not live through it, but I think she's gonna die some way. I have no idea how, but maybe. So, on to the next bit, on to the better bit. Daenerys. Marine. Very, very happy with this bit. Kind of was disappointed last episode when we just saw Dany walk in and then that was it. And it was like, whoa, not much here is happening. We know the Masters are attacking. Someone needs to do something about it. It was like, but Dany's dragon's right there. It's like, do something about it. Very awesome scene with her kind of showing the dragons to the Masters and riding them and taking out their ships. Not all of them though, because we need some of those ships to get across, and the Dothraki showing up to get rid of the rest of the Harpies. It was amazing, guys. That was so good. I see why they spent their budget on this episode, why they've saved budget for some of the other episodes, because this was an awesome episode. Really got upset when they were the Masters were saying to like Tyrion and Daenerys, well, you'll have to give up the Unsullied and you'll have to give up your translator. And it's like, that's definitely not going to happen. So whatever you're offering, it is not going to happen. And I liked how Dany kind of turned around and said, you're surrendering to me. You do realize, right? I'm not surrendering to you. I would never surrender to you. So that was cool. And then just taking out the two that kind of pushed the other guy forward. They really deserve that. Good work, Grey Worm. That's why I like you so much. I thought it was really cool. All the dragons kind of banding together. It's like, oh, let's follow our big brother. Let's get all these ships on fire. And having the little dragons next to the really big one. It was just very, very good. I really enjoyed that sequence. Also really enjoyed Yara showing up. Yay! And Theon. Not a big fan of Theon. Never have been, but I like Yara a lot. She seems really cool. And I'm happy that she's going to be working with Daenerys. I loved their conversation about them both having like really evil fathers. And like even Tyrion kind of getting in on that. And that was just a really cool sequence for all of them to have that discussion. And for Yara to kind of be on Daenerys' side. And for Daenerys to say, you're going to be queen of, what was it? The Iron Islands. So that was a really cool sequence. I'm glad Yara's there. I'm glad she's involved with Daenerys, and I think that's going to be a really good partnership. I'm really looking forward to that. Couldn't get better unless we had Sansa involved as well. That would be amazing if we had all three together. Very cool. I was glad they just focused on those main characters as well and then trying to tell a million stories, because we just didn't need it. We just needed those two main stories this time, and they were very epic, and they needed to be epic to kind of go with this episode. So yeah, I did like the Daenerys bit more, mostly because I like her character more than Jon Snow. I've never been a huge fan of Jon Snow, unfortunately, but of course I didn't want him to die to Ramsay because Ramsay's horrible. So yeah. But we knew he wasn't going to die anyway because they just brought him back from the dead, and that would be very silly to kill someone when you just done that. So, very happy with this episode. Very eager to see Dany get to Westeros. I don't think it's going to happen this season, but I think beginning of next season, she's definitely going to be storming her way there. I'm very interested to see next week with Cersei's trial and see what's going to go on with that. I think she's going to burn them all, including Tommen, because Tommen is no longer her son at this point, really. He has pissed her off far too much. So let me know what you thought of the episode of Game of Thrones, The Battle of the Bastards, in the comments below. What was your favorite part? Who's your favorite character? My favorite character of all is Daenerys. My second favorite character is Samwell on Game of Thrones. And I know people are like, why? And it's like, I just think he's really nice, and I like his character a lot. I like Grey Worm and Missandei, and I like Tyrion as well. So those are the ones I enjoy watching. Sansa's pretty good too at this point. Don't really care about most of the other Starks, unfortunately. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you liked about this episode, what you didn't like, and I will see you later. Bye-bye. Hey guys, Mel here. I really want you to subscribe, want you to click that button below. Subscribe.